Hey guys, welcome to Trade Journal. Today we're just going to talk through some of the trades I'm potentially looking at so that you can position yourself as well to make some bread in the market in the next day, in the next few days, or the week coming up. So first of all, let's just go straight into it. And let's look at the points we're going to be looking at today. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is identifying our point of interest, our POI. This is just the area that we're going to be potentially looking to get into a trade. Obviously, we still have to wait for all our confirmations to be true, okay? So the trade I'm currently looking at, okay, some of the areas and reason for this area is listed here in this document. Okay, first we have a daily level that we're coming towards, as you can see. Secondly, we're going to talk about market structure, okay, and what we're potentially looking at as it pertains to market structure. And next, we're also going to talk about, all right, sort of the context of the market and, potentially what I think the market is doing at the moment. So let's get straight into it. So here we have the BTC chart. And as you can see, in terms of the daily level, the point number one, here you can see that we have drawn, or I've drawn my support and resistance lines. And what I see is I realize that Bitcoin is currently trading very close to its daily support. We can see that this support acted as support here, in January 2021, as well as May 2021, as well as June 2021 and July 2021, okay? We can also see that this is acted as pretty good support here also at May 2022. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this support level is held. And as you know, the more the number of times is held, the stronger the support, okay? Because price hasn't managed to break that support multiple times, all right? So for the first time, we had a break around, March, April, all right? And we had another break, and now it seems as though we're getting a retest of that support, okay? And that support is coming in at around 28,600, within sort of that range, okay? So that's the first thing I'm looking at. Now, the second thing is the market structure, all right? So market structure, we can just see here that since May 2022, okay, we can see that the market has, produced a low, a high, a lower low, all right? And it's produced also a high, but this high hasn't quite broken the previous swing high, okay? And so what we kind of are seeing here is a head and shoulder pattern that's forming, where you've got the left shoulder, the head, and you have the right shoulder, okay? As we know with head and shoulder patterns, all we have to do to obviously understand where the targets might be is to, draw from the neckline to the head and project that above the neckline. So we can see that our target for this head and shoulder is coming in at around $35,200. Will it hit that target? I don't know. Okay. All right. So next, we can see that after the right shoulder has formed, there's been a break. There's actually been a break of structure past the neckline, and then there's been a retest. Okay. Some of you may have gotten into this long here. It's a great position to get in. The retest, and potentially we've also had, a higher high being formed. Okay. So in terms of the structure, that's what's going on. We can also see here that we've got more, more globally, we've got, just bear with me 1 second. We've got a low, we've got a high, we've got a high, and potentially this could be a position for another high, all right? So that's currently what we're looking at. We can see that in each time, okay, the thrust seems to be getting lower and lower. This thrust is less than this thrust, which is seemingly less than this thrust, okay? So potentially we may be reaching a point where, Bitcoin is starting to cool off and maybe decided, to potentially consolidate for a while or change direction. Bearing in mind, this is the high term time frame. This is the daily time frame. Are we going to reach that target? Nobody knows, Are we going to fall down and do this? Nobody knows, okay? But all we can do is plan ahead, you know, and potentially be prepared for whatever is going to happen. All right, so let me just get rid of some of this drawing here. We can just undo. All right, so bearing structure in mind, we can see that we're potentially in an uptrend at the moment, and we're having a slight pullback. You know, we're having a pullback. Now, what position will that pullback stop? Where will that pullback come all the way down to? No one knows, all right? So that's why I've potentially looked at using the fib retracement tool to gauge exactly where that might be. All right, you've pulled a fib from the last low all the way to the high, not all the way to the high. And then we can see if we zoom in that we're getting some sort of reaction at the 382 level. Okay, we're getting some sort of reaction at the 382 level. Now, will this go further down before it goes up? Nobody knows. All right, but my plan at the moment is, considering that we actually get a reaction at this level, to potentially go further up high. Okay, so that's the second thing I've looked at to get this point of interest here, this green box. It's the market structure. We've looked at the fact it's in an uptrend, it's potentially looking like it's pulling back, and we're currently at the 382 fib level. All right, it could go down to a golden ratio, which is a 618, between the 618 and 65% level. Or it could go all the way down here before it decides to have the next leg up. Okay, we're not entirely sure, all right? But we are planning based on the fact that it retraces down to the 382 level. Of course, what could happen as well is we could get something looking like this, where we don't quite take out this high and then we fall down, okay? Or we can, of course, actually get a bounce here, takes out this high, and we continue on to the target, okay? Whichever is going to take place, we're not entirely sure. We can just plan accordingly, all right? Okay, so now what we see here is we've got our target, we've got our point of interest, and our point of interest is becoming between 28,500 and 29,100. So the price is currently here, and I'm currently looking for entry signals at the moment, okay? Entry confirmations. And that's where I go all the way down to the 4 hour, okay? Now on the 4 hour, I'm looking for something specific. I'm looking for bullish divergences. What is a bullish divergence? Bullish divergence is when, as the price is coming down, okay, momentum is going up. So as the price is falling down, we have momentum going up. This is our momentum waves, the blue waves. As price is coming down, momentum is going up. We can see as price came to our point of interest, we got a slight reaction, okay? Now, is this the penultimate reaction? Nobody knows, but it could potentially do something like that, where it goes, it comes up a little bit, does another bounce before it shoots off, all right? Now, that's exactly what I'm planning for in the case that that happens, all right? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a potential bullish divergence, perhaps on a 4 hour. We can already see one forming on a 4 hour. We can see that as price is going down, momentum is going up. But if we look closely, more closely at this 4 hour wave, let's look at it on the 3 hour. It might be clearer here. If we zoom into the 3 hour, okay, what I want to see is something that looks like this, where it snaps, maybe touches the low of our point of interest, as our momentum wave does something like that, okay? Now that will give us a nice bullish divergence, you know, where the price has gone down, as well as the momentum wave also going up. So that would be a nice area to potentially get into a long. So if I see that taking place on a 2 hour and down, because of course I'm going to see in the lower time frames before the high time frames, then I will be looking to enter into a long. Okay, so that's my potential trade number one. I'll be looking to enter into a long. Now, for those of you that don't have Market Cipher, this is obviously one of the best indicators I've used, and it's very good at potentially, predicting turning points in the market. What I suggest you do is also look at the market structure. So to have an entry confirmation, what you would need to do, let me just clean this up a bit because it looks a bit messy. Get rid of these, get rid of that. Okay, so what I would like you to look at, if you don't have Market Cipher, is simply just look at market structure. The market will tell you what it's doing. All right, so if we zoom out to just get an idea of what, the trend is on the 15-minute, for our entry confirmation, you can see that we're having a series of lows being formed. Okay, potentially could use that. All right, and you're having another low being formed. Okay, so we may have another, lower high and then a lower low. Okay, that comes into a level, followed by not necessarily another, lower high, but a higher high. And this higher high will need to break this point, take us up there perhaps, and then form, a high low. Now this high low will be my entry point. This high low will be my entry point because it will be the first sign of a break in structure, and a change of trend. And that will take me all the way up here. So as we can see, we've got a potential area of interest, using market structure as well. So this first area is potential trade is using Market Cipher, but the second one using market structure will probably look more like this. Where you've got your entry here. So you won't catch the entire move, but that's completely fine. And you obviously need your stop loss to be a little bit down here. Okay, and that would be the next, potential area of getting into that trade. But if you miss that trade, that's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. What I suggest you do is let that, thrust go up. It's also going to have some sort of retest, before it goes up further. So you may also consider getting into the trade there, right? So that's currently what I'm looking at in terms of longs. In terms of shorts, I think I've got a bias at the moment to, just look for longs at the minute. But in terms of shorts, we could potentially be looking at, a short that looks something like this. If I get my fib tool out and I take it from that high, bear with me, fib retracement from that high, all the way to the low, we could be looking at a short, to take place potentially here. Yeah, we can also be looking at a short to take place here as well. Okay, and this short, may take us down to, the golden ratio, and it may take us down to low levels, or it could potentially, happen from here or even up here. So any of those are possible. So these areas will also be areas that I'm looking to enter shorts as well, in the future. But at the moment, I'm looking at a potential long. So that's it. So I'm going to post this on Discord, just so you have the exact levels and the exact confirmations that you're looking for. And yes, until next time.